So, you guys voted on this story over on Patreon, and again, if you want to be part of the Patreon group, just hit the link below. And there are other multiple tiers to all get the exclusive content and be part of the polls for voting on videos for Patreon. But if you hit the fourth tier, you can not only get all of that, but also send me requests for videos to do on YouTube. As you guys saw, I just finished three requests for others on here. And yeah, so this was the three-way crossover voted on by people, my poll on Patreon, and this was the one that I actually was shocked won by, like, well, there was one other that came close, but this one won in a close match between the two. So this is Evil Dead, Ghostbusters, Big Trouble, and Little Chinatown. Yeah, we're all doing the horror we're doing the three big ones of horror comedy. Although you could argue that I don't think Ghostbusters, it's more a comedy than it is horror, but it is supernatural. And it does have scary moments. You know what I mean. So, yeah, as for others, the other two that came in close were Glitchtex, Tron, Code Lyoko, and Witchblade, She-Ra, and Amphibia. The other ones didn't turn out so well. I also think it's kind of funny that this was the one that won, because I literally put this one on a whim. I was like, there's no way no one is going to vote for this one, because I've seen how this plays out. I've seen how this one these always get voted on. Like, usually when I bring up Evil Dead or Ghostbusters or Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, I usually go, there's no, it never gets any attention. This time it did. So hopefully this will pan out well. Like, hopefully this will, garner some attention from everyone here on YouTube. Anyway, so let's get started with the story. So our story begins with a break-in at a New York museum, and the Ghostbusters are called in, and they're like, Venkman's like, we're not the cops, right? They have shiny badges. We have radioactive proton packs. Just saying. And they're like, well, the problem was what was stolen, because it turns out the curator of the museum is a friend of Egon's, and he's like, I needed to see it. Like, obviously this is the original cast. He talks to Egon, and he's like, listen, Egon, yeah, something big was stolen here, and this is why I called the Ghostbusters first instead of, anyone else. And they're like, well, what was stolen? And he goes, the Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Like, and Egon immediately goes, the Necronomicon? You had the Necronomicon here, and you never told anybody? You even kept it? Did you read it? No. And Winston's like, the Necro what now? Then, Egon and Ray explain what the Necronomicon is. They more or less like go into detail about the Necronomicon, and what they basically talk about. It's just a book of just pure evil, and Venkman's like, that's charming. So now with the Necronomicon stolen, there's a problem. Like, so the curator shows Egon footage, shows him the footage of the break-in, like more like it just shows him the footage of the break-in, and it's more like hooded. And Venkman goes, I know where this is going. Let me guess, they're all hooded, robed people chanting weird shit. And sure enough, it's robed people chanting weird shit. He's like, every time. I hate that I'm right. So yeah, so it's now a cult has shown up. But however, the curator reveals to Egon that one of the cultists dropped something, and it was like a little medallion. And Ray goes, hey, I've seen that before. I've seen that in Little Chinatown, and in New York when I was studying abroad in California. And he's like, yeah, that's a little shop in Little Chinatown. And they're like, oh, I've always wanted to see Cali. And Venkman's like, oh, I've always wanted to see Cali. Let's go. So it's now like, at first it's like Winston goes, isn't this out of our district? Like, aren't we supposed to be New York team? And Egon makes the argument of, yeah, but if whoever holds the Necronomicon could open the doorway to hell and unleash an army of darkness. And to which Venkman's like, so I hope we get paid overtime for this, is what you're saying. So the Ghostbusters take off, and meanwhile, in California, we have the opening of a new S-Mart, which is a new Mega Mart in LA. That's coming to LA, and Ash is going to be the district manager. He's still working for S-Mart after all these years, and Ash is just like, it's just a job, man. And he's not a good district manager, but what he is noticing around town is that what's going on is that he's kind of noticing like a bunch of he's been hearing a lot of kidnappings from robed cultists, and he's like, I don't want to do this. It's not my gig anymore. I put that Evil Dead I put the Necronomicon shit behind me. I don't do this anymore. He's just like, I don't. This is not me anymore. But of course he gets pulled into it when one of his co-workers goes missing. So, and he tracks them all the way to Little Chinatown. Also, during all this, Ash has run into someone who's also back in Little Chinatown, and that's Jack Burton, who's been more or less, like, his truck route has kind of brought him back after all these years, and he's like, I always find my roads back here. And actually, it's kind of funny. I wanted to have, like, this fun scene where, like, Jack picks Ash up after his car breaks down, and he's like, come on, buddy, let's go. So just the idea alone of like Kurt Russell and Bruce Campbell together, along with the original cast of Ghostbusters. Why isn't anyone doing this in comics? Seriously. I think Boom or Dynamite has Little Trouble in Little Chinatown comic rights. Ghostbusters is up in the air. Dynamite can just grab that, and Army of Darkness is still under Dynamite, so why isn't this not a comic yet? Just saying. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So, what happens is all three parties converge in Little Chinatown, and Ash is not impressed. Like, him and Jack have been kind of working together to find, because they are encountering like monsters and whatnot, and the thing is that it's monsters that Jack has encountered before during his time, when the last time he was in Little Chinatown, and it's like the storm gods again, but they're like twisted and more demonic, and Ash is like, oh, they're Deadites. So someone is bringing back all of Lopan's minions in Deadite form. So, yeah, and it's about this time when the storms get captured in a ghost trap, and this is when the Ghostbusters arrive, which Ash is like, yeah, I don't think the Ghostbusters are hot shit. Like, he doesn't take them into account that they're, like, really anything. Like, he just thinks they're just kind of full of hot air, when he's like, he doesn't believe that they're, like, legit, ghost fighters, whereas he's actually fought monsters for nothing. So he kind of, like, him and Venkman kind of get into, like, a dick measuring contest because of Toast. Of course they would. Of course, Egon breaks it all up, and all three parties all unite to take on this big villain. It turns out it's a cult run by a child of Lopan, and this child of Lopan is trying to bring back his father. Turns out Lopan had a lot of kids in his immortal life, and this one wanted to bring their father back from the grave to conquer the world finally. And yeah, so we get Deadite Lopan as our big villain. Deadite Lopan. Why is anyone not writing this? Why am I the only one thinking of this stuff? Come on, why don't I have a writing gig yet? So anyway. So I just want to have this fun moment where, like, the Deadite Lopan, like, looks at his child and he's like, "Father, I've brought you back from the depths of hell in a new body." And he's like, "Yes, let me thank you, son." And he just fucking kills him. And then he sees Jack Burton. He's like, "You And Jack's like, I guess I'll have to get you with 2 knives this time. So, Jack, Ash, and the Ghostbusters fight Deadite Lopan, who's just throwing shit, just constantly throwing stuff again and again at him, and until, and even they try to trap him in the ecto trap again, but Lopan is so powerful he breaks it, like he just breaks it apart, and what they need to do, what Ash and Jack realize and tell the Ghostbusters, we need to cut him apart. Like, we need to cut him apart, then put the pieces in a trap. They brought a spare trap with them. So, yeah, what Ash and Jack do is Ash actually unhooks the chainsaw and gives it to Jack, while Jack gives Ash the little submachine gun. So they're just hacking and slashing pieces of Lopan, and then when he's all torn to pieces, then they put him in the ghost trap and seal it away. And yeah, that's the story right there. So as for an end, I was kind of thinking what it'd be kind of fun is Jack gets in his truck and leaves, the Ghostbusters take off, and Ash is like, guys, I need a ride, I'm due back at work tomorrow, guys. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much my 3-way crossover for Evil Dead, Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, and Ghostbusters. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. And once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.